Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager 1447 drive-in ball catch. This is the catch shown to you in the US15 Satin Nickel. Let's make sure of that. Yeah, it sure looks like nickel. That's the ball catch, the part that goes into the door. There's your strike. Okay. You can see that that's a satin nickel finish there. Two screws are going to be included for that strike plate and the complementary finish. There is a link below this video to the installation instructions. And I've got to tell you, these are probably the most thorough installation instructions on a Hager product that I've seen lately. Sometimes there's either nothing or there's an abundance of good information regarding Hager products. And reviewing the instructions and having installed these in the past, quite frankly, the instructions make it look excessively complicated. Bottom line is, you drill a hole and you push this into it. Then you mortise your frame for the strike. However, all the information that's on the instructions is what you do. It's how you install this properly. Most importantly, you're going to want to make sure that you're installing your ball catch at a height above the door that makes sense, that's reasonable, and also what measures something equal to what you have on the remainder of the job. If you've got a whole series of doors in a hallway, and then let's say you have a closet door, you're going to want to make sure that the strike lip is basically at the same sort of height as all the rest of the lock so that everything makes sense. When you drill your hole into the edge of the door, after you have determined where you're going to install it, you're going to have a 15/16 hole in the edge of the door. And I'm not a real big fan of fly bits for doing this, for butterfly bits doing these, because I have noticed that you get an oblong hole, and that's not real ideal for something like this because the amount of the exposed rim or trim of the ball catch is so small. I've even gone as far as to use like Forstner bits so that I make sure that I get a really nice straight sort of preparation in the edge of the door. Or some sort of fixturing, perhaps. If you're going to be using something like a router bit, which would be unusual, but nonetheless, if it was in a CNC machine, that's what would most likely be used. After you drill your 15/16 hole, you'll push that into the edge of the door. Then you're going to want to put a piece of wood over the face of this and then gently tap that in so that it's flush. And the wood will make sure that when you're tapping this in, it ends up flush, because the wood will have to stop when it hits the edge of the door. The center line of the ball catch on the door is a specific dimension. Let's say that it's 42 inch. It could be anything. The center line of the strike can't be 42 inch. It's got to be a little bit greater than that, probably 42 1/8, because as you know, you've got a gap at the top of the door, between the top of the door and the underside of the header. So you'll want to make that maybe 1/8 of an inch greater, something in that range. You'll have to measure your gap and determine that. And where you locate the strike on the frame is basically going to be measured as, take your door thickness and divide it in half. So if you've got an 1 3/4 door, you've got 7/8 of an inch, and then you add 1/8 of an inch, and that's 1 inch. And that's the dimension to the center line as measured from the face of the stop. And that's the Y dimension that is referred to on the installation instructions. The installation instructions are quite excellent. They talk about pre-drilling the holes for your screws, which of course is a very good idea. You don't want to split the wood of your frame. Always pre-drill every single time. And beyond that, there's dimensions on given for everything. This is 1 13/16 overall length. The height of your strike is 2 1/4, and that's very typical for the height of a residential strike. Okay, available in several different finishes on the website. Has good tension on it. You are able to adjust the tension That's point number 9 on this installation instruction. Using the slots, you can see those 2 little slots. I've got them at 12 and 6 right now. Rotate ball catch housing clockwise to decrease ball projection, or rotate counterclockwise to increase the ball projection. And that's how far the ball sticks out in terms of its projection is going to be directly related to how much resistance you'll be dealing with in terms of pulling the door open and pushing it closed. You can see the spring behind there. It's the business end of that ball catch. And there you go. Hager is a full-line supplier of trim and auxiliary hardware like this, continuous hinges, locks, and closers. But they're really known for, I think, is hinges. That's what Hager is probably most notorious for. If you have any questions on the Hager 1447 drive-in ball catch or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.